back with Dame Julie Andrews and her daughter Emma Walton Hamilton. They are speaking at the Barbara Bush Literacy Foundation Power of Literacy Luncheon today. They are the authors of Homework, a memoir of my Hollywood years. All right, as I said, Dame Julie Andrews. Okay, at first, most guests actually drink out of cups like this right here, right? Just a regular,
well, that's exactly the kind of cup I
regular
love.
Great Day Houston cup, but we said she's a dame, so we are getting out the bone china.
Gotta lift your pinky, Deborah.
Yes.
You gotta lift the pinky up.
Oh, wait,
there we go.
let me get my pinky up. There we go. Yes. And yes, I am a T-SIP. I went to the University of Texas at Austin. We'll explain that later. Okay. I mentioned blended family. So, and when you get into this book, what I love about it is that I feel like I'm sitting at the table with you, having a conversation with you.
Oh, you
It's
nuts,
how it's written,
lady.
though.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm right there. I grew up with you, Emma. You don't know this, but I did. All right. All kinds of things about your personal life, like a blended family. Never easy, especially when you're on the road and traveling
Not
so
at
much.
all, no. And I think as a mum, as long as your kids are all right, you can do anything. But I envy any mother that has a job and keeps a family together. I think this lady knows what I'm talking about.
Jennifer and Jeffrey.
Yeah.
And Emma, what was that like for you to all of a sudden have there's some new people?
Well, you know, the bizarre thing is that I've actually occupied every space on the birth order chart spectrum.
Yeah,
So I
firstborn,
was
lastborn,
the
youngest.
only, and then I inherited two older step-siblings, and I was the youngest, and then I became the oldest on my dad's side, and then the middle when they adopted.
the two little ones came along.
Yeah,
I've been everywhere.
Adopted two children from Vietnam.
Yes.
And during a very crazy time.
Yes, it was. There's one of them. That's Amelia. And little Joe is there. There she is.
And you had to do a race against the clock because at that time Vietnam was falling.
It was falling, yes. It was a fast. That would be a whole book on its own. Yeah, really.
All right.
I wish I had enough time to write about it.
I
mean,
we'll
in
find the time
there, but
somewhere.
it would have taken another whole book, I think.
The operation that you had to have to remove some nodules.
No, you got it wrong.
Okay.
Deborah, it wasn't nodules. People thought it might be, but it wasn't. And the truth is that I'm not really allowed to talk about it much. Am I?
Nope.
Nope.
And it's not, we actually don't deal with it in this book.
No, it's much, much later than this book that it happens. But in fact, there was an operation, and it unfortunately was not successful. But I didn't have nodules, and
More like scar tissue.
yeah, more like the striation that comes from a lot of Broadway singers who sing so hard for so long. It's like hopping on a knee for a long time, and you get kind of striated tissue, and it hardens. And in a way, that's what was happening. It was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, all right. In writing this book, how did you discuss how you would do this book because of the style of it and why you wanted to do it?
Well, darling, why don't you begin?
Well, it's lovely that you it's lovely that you say it sounds like I'm having a conversation with you because in fact that's very much the way we wrote the book. It was a lot of conversation of my interview. We had a huge timeline that we made to refer to.
You made.
That, and I would say, tell me about, you know, the night when such and such happened, or tell me about this event, and she would talk and we'd record it and then transcribe those and convert it to narrative.
And what I can only imagine is so cool about this with a mother and a daughter is that there are things that you found out about her that you might not have known, or little situations, and vice versa, through the eyes of you, how each other looked at certain situations
as
well.
What we've written so often together.
Yeah, we've been collaborating as co-authors on children's books and also on the first memoir, and this is our 32nd book together.
Yeah.
So we do have a kind of shorthand, and I have to say there weren't really any great surprises or revelations that I didn't know. But of course,
surprises of
see things a little differently.
Yeah, and because most of this happened when I was a child, and so my memory of it is different than her memory of it.
But I
that was
couldn't have even begun to do it without Emma's help, because her encouragement and her steadfastness and Mom, you will get through it, and I'll see that you do. And
she kept saying, we're never going to finish. We're never going to finish.
Yeah.
Said, yes,
and
we will.
you get out of the book what you also helped to bring to it, right?
We also put together, I'd kept from about 1965 some really extensive diaries, and you went through every single page of those.
We did, yeah. And we
took what was
excerpted
necessary, we felt.
It was very moving. It was a very moving experience.
Well, at times we had a few tears, didn't we?
It took about almost 3 years.
Yeah. All right, we have, as I mentioned earlier, some students in the audience who would like to grow up and be a you one day, right? So we're going to start with Corey. Good morning, Corey.
I'm actually
you're
not
a
a
student.
I'm not
You're
a
the
student.
teacher. You're the teacher, yes.
First and foremost, this is such an honor. You have a number of theater teachers here today that you are like the rock of our being where we are right now. And I guess one of the questions that I want to ask is, we're every day trying to guide creative, compassionate, confident theater students. Who was someone in your life that impacted you in such a way?
Oh, I've been really hugely fortunate to have such mentors along the way. The very first mentor I had was my singing teacher, and I was lucky enough to meet her when I was like 9 years old. And at that time, she said to my parents, "It's lovely, the voice, but bring her back to me in about 3 years. Let her be a child for a little longer." But my voice grew so quickly and so strong that she did take me back almost within the year. And I stayed with her for many, many years, and she was the one that taught me about diction and the words holding your voice true. And
But then Moss Hart.
and then going to My Fair Lady. Moss Hart was the director of My Fair Lady, the famous Moss Hart. If no one has ever read Moss Hart's biography called Act One, I beg you to do so. It's one of the great biographies about the theatre. And he writes so beautifully, and he was a dear man, funny and tough, and yet so kind. And he saw something in me. He knew I was floundering in My Fair Lady, but he saw something in me that he felt was worth working with. And we did work very hard together, but he pulled me through.
Yeah.
Can you think of
Other
anybody else?
questions? You have
Yes,
to let
I
me
know.
get
Okay.
to other questions.
Anna? Hi.
my-
Tell us where you're a student at.
I'm a student at HSPVA, and we just finished up our production of Mary Poppins.
Yes.
So that's why we look like
Bravo.
this. And my question was, do you prefer film acting or live theater?
It's hard to decide. You know, live theatre, you're full figure the whole time. You start at the beginning, you finish at the end.
And you get that immediate response.
And you get that really lovely response, which is the best part of is giving to an audience. But also the wonder of film is that you can shoot out of sequence, and you do so often. But you do have a chance to do it over and over again. You have to hold the whole film in your head, because you don't know where you could start in the middle and finish it, you know, at the beginning.
And you have no idea what happened until you see it all really put together.
That's right.
You're
And
like,
you
oh,
hope
that's what that was.
You've made the right choices. But there's so many people helping you that care, director of photography and lighting man, and your director, of course, of the movie.
Yeah.
And that was another mentor, was Robert Wise.
Yeah. All right, Francisco.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a question about if you have any advice for any upcoming actors today.
I do.
What your thoughts are. Sorry.
Very, very simple. And it is that if you're as lucky as I have been, opportunities will pass under your nose when you least expect them. And if you're passionate about what you do, work hard, but you never know when that opportunity is going to come your way. So I say to everybody, so do your homework, be ready. And that's really part of the title of the book, is that the homework is, it's everything from home and work as it hit me, but also doing my homework and learning about myself. Because you never know when that amazing moment might just float by, and you can take that opportunity. But if you're not ready for it, so do your homework.
Yeah, the other advice is when you know the notes to sing, you can sing most anything.
Deborah,
So, you know,
Deborah.
so you know about that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to
I would add to that, actually. I'm just going to add to that, to what she said, because I started as an actor for many years, and one of my great mentors was the great acting teacher, Herbert Berghoff. And he used to say, never mind the talent, do you have the tenacity? And that's sticking with it even through the disappointments, even through the rejections, even through the hard work, you know, hang on to the tenacity.
So many people look at the end.
And you cannot win everything.
That's
Nobody
right.
wins it all. I mean, that sounds like an odd thing when you look at how fortunate I've been, but it's all a graph. The movie industry, theater, some are wonderful, some are flops. And you just have to go with it, but it's part of a life.
And that's what we see in this book. You know,
Yes.
we can put people on pedestals and make them perfect, but you went through some stuff, but you made the best of it.
I wanted to show just the thing that I took away from having written the book is the stunning realization that I had really worked hard. And although it was wonderful, it was really hard
Talk
work.
about tenacity. I mean, this is a perfect example.
Right?
Yeah.
This is it. What is it you want to do next? What is it you want to do next? Is there a next?
What are we going to do next?
What are we going to do
Besides
next?
the luncheon
We
today.
actually we are developing a podcast right now, celebrating
next
children's
year.
books and literacy, and that'll be announced in the spring. It's for American Public Media.
That'd be awesome.
We have 2 more children's books under contract that we must get to.
Yes.
So we've been ignoring for a couple of years.
We have. Yeah.
We have run out of time. I think it's time for me to say so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen to you. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but anyway.
She sings really well, though, doesn't she?
I just want to say thank you so much, and you said it best. I mean, this is like a jewel and a grand moment for a lot of folks who
Good luck to
grew up with
every
you.
single one of you, and hang in there and give it to the audience. That's the important
Give
thing.
the gift.
Give the
Dane,
gift.
Julie Andrews, and Emma, thank you so much. You can find Julie and Emma's book, Homework, a Memoir of My Hollywood Years, wherever books are sold.
Thanks so much,
I
Deb.
don't want you to leave.